May 2nd. Success is never ending, failure is never final. Yes. Pack the power of possibility thinking into your life. What is keeping you from success? Why do you limit your own abilities? Do you think your dreams will never come true? If so, it is time you had an attitude adjustment. Remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. The master of possibilities shows you how your dreams, no matter how impossible they may seem, are seized for your success. By weeding out the impossibilities with Dr. Sculler's series of checklists, you will uproot the negatives and see all possibilities bloom into positives. Success, when viewed with a patient's mental attitude, is a process, is a journey, not a destination. Don't let another day go by without exploring your own road to success. Start by analyzing, recognizing, visualizing, mobilizing, and energizing your possibilities and see them turn into realities. Make up your mind to say goodbye to failure and hello to success. Watch your dreams come true. Success is never ending, failure is never final. 20 years ago, I developed the philosophy for successful living that I call possibility thinking. Today, I look back and rejoice over the success of this system. Wow, has it worked for me? And I know it can work for you. May you live as long as you want and want as long as you live. It all begins when you decide you want to succeed. Some people frankly run from success. They are embarrassed by the subject. After all, success has taken a lot of criticism, much of it undeserved, some deserved. If success is achieved through exploitation of the poor or the oppressed, then such injustice is sinful. When it is necessary to succeed in order to feed insatiable greed, such success deserves to be rebuked. A world-renowned movie producer and director invited a very good friend of mine to accompany him to a bank in Geneva, Switzerland. My friend went with him into a private bank vault. Inside were piles and piles of solid gold bars, tens of millions of dollars. My friend described the scene. With gleaming eyes, the movie director said to me, "Isn't that the most beautiful sight you ever saw?" I looked at him and almost became ill. In that moment, he radiated a spirit of all-consuming greed, and it made his countenance ugly, repulsive, repugnant. Such an image success deserves to be condemned. By contrast, I have a friend named Ahmed Hammer, a super possibility thinker. You can read his book. He was a millionaire at age 21 and is an enormously successful and wealthy man. However, he has shared his money with the impoverished and used it to underwrite the research and development of projects that will help mankind. Only God knows how many causes, projects, institutions, and individuals have been financially helped by the wonderful philanthropist. This is the kind of success this book salutes. Likewise, consider the success of my friend, the late Foster McGaw. When he was still a young salesman, he discovered that hospitals did not purchase their own equipment. In many cases, doctors sent nurses out to drugstores to pick up bandages. He hit upon the wonderful idea to call regularly in the hospitals and provide them with the supplies that they would need. His offer to help was accepted by doctors and hospitals alike. He promptly went to the manufacturers and became a supplier to the nation's hospitals. So the American Hospital Supply Corporation was born. Foster McGaw lived a good way, more than 150 million in gifts. Over 30 colleges received gifts of $1 million or more. Our Crystal Cathedral received 2 such gifts. Real success is really exciting. Success is another friend, George Pettyman, creating jobs to save the life of the entire town. I have a speaking engagement you have to accept, Dr. Spiller. I want you to dedicate my new plant in Wisconsin. After all, our success is due to your possibility thinking. He went on to explain, I was reading in the Wall Street Journal that the entire town of Kimberly, Wisconsin was doomed to become a ghost town. The town had been built around a paper marketing plant 75 years before. It was the only industry that really created jobs in this town, but modern times made the factory non-profitable. I read the sad story, and the next morning I heard you, Dr. Skill response. You're possibly thinking on television. You said nobody has the money problem. It's always the idea problem. So I called into one of my top executives and said, will you tell me what it would take to produce paper at a profit in this town? Some days later, my associate handed me a note. The news was devastating. His plans required a new machine that could turn out coated paper 223 inches wide to two-thirds of a mile long every minute. The minute the machine could be built, but it would be nearly 500 feet long and could cost more than $50 million. And if market conditions were right and financing was reasonable, it could prove profitable. George Petty dedicated himself then and there to go for it. He went to manufacturers and government officials in the native country, Canada, and asked, would you like the business of building the key machinery components? Will you finance the manufacturing costs? They agreed to do so. Next, he went to the largest magazines in the world. Would you like to be guaranteed the delivery of all the paper you need and not be bought short a few years from now? If so, advance me cash and I'll guarantee you future delivery. They did. And so George Petty put the impossible deal together, and he called it Dr. Skiller machine is ready to be started up. We are dedicating it next month. We have saved the town of Kimberly, Wisconsin, and we have actually added 600 new jobs. You'll have to come out for grand opening and celebration. I'll never forget it. Flags of the United States and Canada flew over every light pole in town. There was a parade complete with music by the high school band, pom-poms and on Wisconsin, there was a huge tent to house nearly 1,000 VIPs flown in our private jets from New York and Canada. George Petty had put up everything he had and owned on the line. Thousands would benefit from his personally risky venture, although it nearly did him in vain. Prime interest rates rose 2 years later to an unimaginable 22%. He made it. He struggled through and succeeded. Success, let's not knock it. Let's not block it, let's unlock it. But first, let's understand that what success and failure is all about. Success, well, it is more than winning and losing. Yes, because success is a process. It is more than what you feel on the scoreboard. Success and failure don't stop when the game ends and the crowd goes home. We have all seen winners when success turned them into solemn head jobs. Their victory was their downfall, and we have all seen losers who were such great sports and took their losses so gracefully that they turned their defeat into a personal victory. Success failure is all about setting goals and striving to reach them. Yes, but it is more than that. What you will read in the final report of the published news release for real success is accepting your God-given opportunities and giving your divinely inspired goals 110% of your best effort. Success may actually elude you until that moment when you fail. The pole vaulter's efforts are not complete, nor does he win until he fails to clear the highest hurdle. In failing, the pole vaulter arrives at success. Success is discovering and developing your potential as well as seeing the new opportunities born all around you every new day. Success, failure, it is all about solving problems and resolving difficulties. Yes, but understand success is a process that must never stop. So you have solved one problem, the success will spawn new problems. You have resolved one difficulty, the success will hatch a batch of new ones. So real success will finally be measured by how charming, graceful, polite, and positive you have become through this evolving process. Success, failure, is it about acquiring fame and fortune? Yes and no. Again and again, makers and shakers of the world and power have been some of the world's greatest human beings, while others have been the crown punks of history. Fame and fortune are shallow goals unless they are a means to an end, a way to help others. I hope the success will mean prosperity to you, for the alternative to prosperity could be poverty, and poverty becomes incredibly oppressive. How many people in poverty pockets in a world have opted for dictatorship because they lack the hope of financial independence? Desperate, hungry, poor people have been tempted to trade their freedom for bread. Poverty leaves depressed and discouraged and defeated people at the mercy of the dictator who comes along with promise, solid or hollow, that hold out hope. We spread freedom from oppression as we move people from the poverty to prosperity column. As more and more citizens become financially independent, as the conditions that spawn and sustain dictatorship and wiped out democracy is made more secure. Persons who believe that they can achieve financial independence will be slow to buy the false promises of self-serving, power-hungry politicians who manipulate and exploit the poor with the promise of a larger handout. So what then is success? Success for the husband and wife means making their marriage work with the hope that they can celebrate a golden wedding anniversary. Success will mean keeping their family intact with communication lines open, and so this community and caring and sharing persons will enjoy each other in love. Success for the students means passing the courses of school and developing mind and talents to make a beneficial contribution to the human race. Success for the surgeons means saving a life. Success of the lawyer means helping confused persons extricate themselves from the tangled webs of conflicting involvements, setting them free again. Success for the teacher means motivating students to believe that they are smart, not stupid, and helping students develop self-images that will lift them to heights that never before dreamed. Success too for the salesperson means discovering people who have problems that will probably be solved by the salesperson's product or service. Success for the law enforcement officials and those who are in our military service means maintaining peace and order. Success for the pastor of the local church means administering programs to serve the spiritual needs of the church family. It means effectively communicating the hope of the gospel to people who have no faith. Success for the people who are ill means restoring health or, at the very least, handling the illness in such a way that they inspire others around them. Success can mean coping with unusual problems. For instance, for my daughter who has lost her leg in a motorcycle accident, success today means carrying her precious little baby girl while walking on the artificial leg. As she was walking out the front door with her husband at her side, the unthinkable happened. She lost her balance on the sidewalk, and though saving herself from the fall, she watched her 8-week-old curly-haired baby girl fly out of her arms through the air and onto the lawn, narrowly missing the sidewalk. The next night, my wife was at Carol's home. It happened again, to the horror of my wife and our 23-year-old daughter. This time, Carol and her baby fell on the carpeted floor. As I put this book to praise, my daughter is still dealing with this challenge. So success for her will mean being able to carry her nursing Rebecca and never drop her again. Success can mean acquiring more money or material things. Surely our perception of success should not ignore the material needs of life. As Christians, we are not opposed to material success if it means that people will be able to provide for the development of their own potential education, healthcare, start a business that will provide an outlet for their creative skills in the creation and distribution of the product or service, and enable them to experience the joy of giving to great moments, causes, ministries, and institutions in the world of hunger and pain. As I was growing up in the family was poor, but every Sunday we were able to drop some money in the offering plate. So success is, what does success finally add up to? A diploma in the wall, a trophy in the case, money in the bank, professional honors. Yes, this is success, but more than this, success is being able to look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of the person you have become. You did the best you could. Success is novelist when it leaves you with a self-respect that you have been a good steward of the life. Liberties, possibilities, opportunities that God offered to you. Success is building your self-respect by affirming the dignity of your fellow human beings. This is why some of the most successful persons I've known were and are among the most beloved and respected people on earth, even though their material acquisitions are modest. They are great hearts, they are super souls, they are precious persons. They are the really beautiful people, fashion, fortune, lifestyle notwithstanding. Number my former fathers, that honorable hall of fame and great human beings. He struggled and prevailed over immense challenges. His neighbors and relatives admired, respected, and loved him. And Dad respected himself too. That is success. Yes, Dad bought and paid for his farm. It paid him until he died. Was that the end of his successful life? Hardly. His children inherited a portion. I took my share and bought a piece of real estate. Years later, the land had greatly increased in value. When we were raising money to build a crystal cathedral, I gave that investment to help pay for a chunk of the cathedral. We had shelters and houses, persons who come and are transformed. My father's success goes on and on and on. So success is never ending because success is a process. You too will never be able to measure all the good you do. It will trickle down and ripple on and on. Consider the person whose success is defined in the arena of self improvement. To confront the law of reality honestly, without denial, is real success. Illustration: the alcoholic who stops denying his condition goes to Alcoholics Anonymous and becomes sober. He's a success. But he started drinking again. The cynic complains. So, has his success ended? No. Those weeks, months, years while he was sober, weren't they wonderful? Something great happened during the winning streak. Positive memories were generated and collected and will remain permanently recorded in the person's mind and in the memories of others inspired by the streak of successful sobriety. Who can measure the long range redemptive impact of the single inspiring memory? While the alcoholic was sober, his testimony inspired others to take life changing steps. Some of them are still sober today and they are inspiring others. Who will inspire others? So, even if the alcoholic falls off the program, the past successes, however brief, ripple on in other lives. Meanwhile, the memory of the winning streak will, more often than not, at the right time, overpower the shame of falling off the wagon. And this alcoholic, whose success streak supposedly ended, will come back again. Inspiring flashbacks of positive memories will become repaced in the slow motion, drawing the person back to another AA meeting, and he will be on his way again. Really, his success is unstoppable. His success stumbles but never stops. Success is never ending, even if you do add pounds after a successful life. I recall a woman who came to me for counseling. She finally faced the fact that she was fat. She had been gaining weight but had tried for years to deny the reality of her condition. Then came the moment of truth. She saw herself as she really was fat and had a certain vision of the beautiful person she could become slim. So she joined the responsible weight loss program and finally lost 90 pounds. That is success. 2 years later, she gained 30 pounds back. That once more, she went on a diet and lost only to regain a pound each. Over a 15-year period, she had lost, then again, gain again. Finally, depressed, she was ready to give up and said to me, I wasted all those battles, not really. Count all the pounds you lost in all the diets put together. Add the number to your present weight and tell me how heavy you would be today. She thought I shocked looked appear on her face. Gosh, I would be over 400 pounds. She said, I have had some success after all. Of course, you have had many successes, and every pound lost is a pound off your present weight today. Success is never ending. Even if the marriage doesn't last forever, you were so steady-eyed at their wedding. The first few months were grey. Then came the storm. Rock seemed to lie just beneath the surface, waiting to emerge with a challenging tide. I counseled with them. When their fragile craft struck a barely hidden rock, they did all efforts to save the marriage. Couldn't keep them from the divorce courts, but divorce couldn't kill the attraction that kept drawing them together. They tried again. Would you remarry us? Dr. Skiller, at this point, we defined success as reconciliation. The couple was willing to cancel an agreement they had their first time around, an agreement never to have children. 10 months after their remarriage, their daughter was born. The baptism was precious. They were succeeding after all, right? Yes. But 10 years later, the marriage unraveled again. This time, the husband was sexually involved with another woman, and no one could stop him from abandoning his wife and daughter. This time, the divorce was final. One negative thinker said to me, it's too bad that they had a child. It would be so much easier for both of them if they had him. How short-sighted their perception is. I protested. Their successful streak of marriage can never ever really end. I was more prophetic than I realized. Today, 22 years later, I've seen that little girl baptized, become a university graduate and beautiful kindergarten teacher. Success, however, short-running, quickly dropped seeds that will find refuge in some likely or unlikely spot to grow, thrive, and reproduce. When will success stop? Never. It goes on and on and on. and lived closely through the rise and fall of Richard Nixon's presidency. He was, after all, the neighbor of an orange country, California. No president had ever before resigned the office. His term was a disgrace, a total failure. Yes, history will record that President Nixon built the bridge between China and America. No serious critic can underestimate the immense success of this stroke of international diplomacy. So ironically, the success process of this dethroned president goes on. Success is never ending. So this is success, to do something good when you can, where you can, while you can. If down the road the traffic pollution ends it all, remember, nothing can ever really end it all. Does success stop when you sin and stumble, or have you left seeds behind that will sprout and bear fruit? Religious history with long remember the sad, deplorable, dishonorable disgrace of the 1980s on the television mystery of the PTL found by Jim Tammy Becker. He confessed sins, foibles of despair, created an opportunity for cynics and non-Christians to cast despicable judgment against all religious television ministries, my own included. I cannot imagine ever having to live through a more painful year of public ministry. The damage done to respectable Christians by the Becker episode is impossible to measure. So the PTL successes came to a screeching, scorching, searing, seamy end. Really, in a public auction of the extravagant properties purchased by the Beckers, one couple appeared on television to explain why they bought Tammy Becker's desk. We were both saved by their ministry. They said nothing can change that. We never want to stop being thankful for the good they brought to our lives and probably a million others. They led us to the Lord Jesus Christ, and Jesus hasn't let us down. So even here, success is never ending. The failure is never final. On the California, most successful home builders fell upon by times the real estate market plummeted. He was left holding the bag. The upshot was bankruptcy. He had built over 10,000 single-family residences on the California coast, but now he was out of business. It was my job as his pastor to lift him from the black and bleak despair of his failure. You haven't stopped succeeding just because you have gone into bankruptcy, I told him. You have been forced into bankruptcy because your accounts receivable have lost their value. But look at the homes you have built, they are still standing. Look at the salary checks that you have paid out to subcontractors and laborers over the past 20 years. That money is still providing underpinnings for institutions and businesses that you will never know about. No small amount of that money you paid over the past 20 years is in private savings accounts today. Some of it will be used to send a child through college 20 years from now. Doctors, teachers, leaders in society will be educated from savings made possible by paychecks you issued. I continue, how much of the money you paid in salaries ended up in retirement funds to be drawn out of the pensions 10, 20, 30 years from today. Your business has come to an end. That's true, but your success keeps going on and on and on. How much of the money you paid was invested in stock and real estate, which will be inherited by children and their children's children. Just because their corporation is bankrupt doesn't mean that success has come to an end. The process of success continues to live, changing shape and changing life. Likewise, the pastor once saw his little congregation dwindle until the doors of the church were closed. The property was sold, the life of the local congregation came to an end. He was terribly depressed. But your successes have not stopped at today. Just because the church doors are bolted into property is sold does not mean they aren't children of the members of this church who are enjoying better lives because of the Christians' values they have received. They are immortal souls who will enjoy everlasting life in heaven. Nothing can stop that. Consider the good you and your fellow members have done by encouraging each other and helping struggling and grief-stricken souls through their lonely and lost and painful crisis in life. Success is never ending because success is like the process of seed planting. Good deeds honestly offered immediately are transformed into fertile seeds. Every creative, redemptive contribution, like a seed planted, will bear fruit, and only God can count the apples in the seed. The farm can go broke or be sold to a developer, but the land won't evaporate. It will remain as a best of productivity for someone. Meanwhile, a stream of human beings were kept alive for a season by food from that farm, and while they were kept alive, they made love and bore children, and so the fruit of the seed goes on and on and on Think of this, you and I owe our lives to successful people we will never be able to thank personally. Consider the freedom we enjoy. Some soldiers died for that. His success goes on. Thank you, sir. Some medical researcher wiped out this disease years ago. Thank you, madam. Some believers held on to the Christian faith through seasons of persecution. Their success is never ending. Thank you. So I say to all good people on planet Earth, your greatness, success will forever remain God's secret. Only He will know how much good we have all there. A little good helps a lot more than we will ever know, for that person who has been helped will help somebody else. The death of the caterpillar and the birth of the butterfly do not mean that the caterpillar has stopped succeeding. There is, in all of life, the universal principle of death and resurrection. Life goes on and on and on. Even apparent failures can become important ingredients in the process of success. Suppose the doctor does his best and the patient dies. Does this mean the doctor has failed? Not completely. The doctor has succeeded on the research level, for something has been learned what does not work. Failure then becomes a significant contribution to the process of the future success, perhaps a cure for some form of cancer and another serious disease. This positive perception of the failure is all important. Without it, enthusiasm disappears, depression moves in, discouragement takes over, energy dries up. Resources no longer supply life to the enterprise. If that is what success is all about, then what is real failure? Real failure is failing personally, not professionally. Yielding to cowardice in the face of an urgent but risky venture. Retreating from a high calling to a noble duty because your fear and perfection is the execution of that duty. Protecting your pride from a possibility embarrassing professional failures rather than promoting a wonderful and worthy cause. Demoting faith from the leadership of your life and promoting failure to the position of power. This is the real failure as a person, but here's the good news. If you are or have ever been a failure, it never needs to be final. You can reverse your fortune and your future by changing your thinking. Yes, I promise you that in this you can find the motivation to succeed and the management skills to succeed. You'll discover that success is the process of managing your great asset, you. You will be inspired to dream a new dream. You'll be encouraged to try to succeed. You'll become the possibility thinker and believe that nothing is impossible. Yes, this is success. To dare to dream the impossible dream with God and to give God a chance to make this dream come true. Isn't success fantastic? Yes, it is all yours to choose. Choose it, seek it, for success is finding need and pulling it, finding a hurt and healing it, finding a problem and solving it. Dream your way to unending success. Wow, beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, awesome, wonderful. Love you, God, love you, love you, love you. May 2nd. Success is never ending, failure is never final. Yes.